What's up, man? This is Joshua from She Said Fire.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How's it going?
Doing real good. Thank you, Josh, for joining me this evening on behalf of the group. We definitely appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
So let's go ahead and begin, man. Like, how did the band came about?
The band came about. Well, Chris and Peter and I had been playing together for a few years in another band, and when we met Christina, our drummer, about a year ago, actually, we kind of decided we wanted to start something fresh. She brought something really cool to the table, so we thought, let's call it a new band. Let's write some new music and put out a new record and like sort of change direction from what we had been doing. So that's what we set out to do.
Now, when it comes to music, especially, rock music, you know how maybe media, likes to characterize or put people in a category or a type of genre of music. How would you best describe this group's music?
She Said Fire it's a sexy, swinging, snarky, alternative rock and roll. It's got a little hard rock essence, but we've got there's a little blues and jazz influence in there, and more in the stuff that we're writing now. So, yeah, I guess you could take it there.
That's definitely interesting, especially with the blues and jazz part of it, because you mostly hear alternative rock or rock and roll, heavy metal, but for a band like y'all to add that element into y'all music, and it sounds great, it sounds awesome. I mean, that's a lot of work to pull off, but y'all pull it off very well.
Yeah, it's sort of like a lot of the stuff that at least that I've kind of been listening to over the last several years. It's sort of like you take that sort of emo element or the screamo element out of it and add a little bit more soul and a little bit more complicated songwriting. As far as Peter's guitar writing is really quite complex. So I think it adds a new flavor to rock,
Oh, it definitely does. I've been listening to y'all music over the last couple of days. It's some awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff.
Thanks, dude.
So who do you consider as influences, or maybe you can speak for yourself, who do you consider like your own music influences?
Gosh, it tends to change like with each like phase of life, I guess. I've always been a huge Incubus fan. I think Brandon Boyd is one of the most fantastic frontmen, singers. Like just the way he writes melodies and lyrics, his voice just soars so delicious. Incubus has always been a big favorite of mine. Man, lately I've been listening to nothing but Queen. I'm like kind of obsessed with Freddie Mercury at the moment. So it's the theatrics, I like big theatric melodies and big ideas and over the top kind of style. So I love Foo Fighters. Always loved Silverchair back in the day. Pretty wide array of things, but those are the first few that comes to mind,
That's awesome, man. So, from my understanding, the band recently released a record called Boom.
That's correct.
So talk about this record and welcome, fans that haven't had a chance to heard the record yet. What can people expect from this for Boom?
Boom is actually it's a record that we actually wrote very quickly. Like I said, when we met Christina and we decided we wanted to do something new, we booked recording time at Voodoo Studios out on Port Jefferson, Long Island, with Mike Watts, a fantastic producer. About a month after we joined with Christina, and so we spent a month in pre-production. And what we came out with was it's definitely rock and roll. Like the opening track, White Cadillac, just comes slamming out the gate and has a lot of attitude. You move into Sleeping Through the Revolution, which is kind of a rant on just the state of, I guess, American politics and our view of it. And there's a lot of attitude there as well. A little bit of angst thrown in there, but I'm not a terribly angry guy, so we sort of get away from that fairly quickly. Funhouse, our single, is it's a weird kind of dancey tune. Like, it gets hips moving, you know. People's shoulders always be moving at the concerts. It's a fun song, kind of like a party in a song, you know. Getaways is sort of in the direction of a ballad without going all the way there. Just a good solid modern rock song. Really a lot of heart, a lot of feeling there. And then Blue Sky Avenue, the closer, is it's kind of a tip of our hat to all of the musicians and the songs that we grew up listening to, and sort of just paying homage to the artists that kind of shaped my career and my understanding of what music does to a person. It just transports us to somewhere new, somewhere fresh every time we hear it. And so yeah, we kind of, I think we hit a pretty wide spectrum of different topics and feelings in a 5-song EP.
Again, the name of the record is called Boom, and is performed by the band She Set Fire. Go get it on iTunes. You can either purchase individual songs, or you can pretty much purchase the whole record. So support this group, check them out. From my understanding, you also, the band, has some couple of shows coming up, some concerts, things like that coming up. So why don't y'all talk about the shows that y'all have coming up?
Well, we've got a tour out on the West Coast coming up with a band that's one of my idols, and I can't exactly talk about specifics just yet because it hasn't been announced. But we're going to be spending a lot of time out on the West Coast through October. Hopefully hitting the Midwest. We've been playing a lot of shows out in Michigan and kind of places in that area, northern Indiana and stuff. Having a really great time out there. The Foundry being one of the places that I just love the most. Lee's House of Rock. Really cool clubs out there. So we're trying to hit the Midwest as much as possible, and I think in November, I think we're probably going to head down south a little bit more. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and since I've been in New York, my band hasn't played a show in my hometown yet, so I'm dying to get back to Louisville and get some stuff set up down there. Head down through Nashville, down into maybe Georgia, and head all the way down south, you know?
That's great to hear, man. Taking over one city at a time.
Exactly.
One city at a time. Now, y'all being a group and all, and, you know, so I guess sometimes music can be competitive. Sometimes people just want to get as much attention as possible, get some radio plays, things like that. But sometimes music can be cutthroat, and they be looking at certain groups and not giving them opportunity. What is your thoughts on the business aspect of music, as far as groups trying to get themselves heard, but people may not think that it's worthy of radio airplay? What's your take on the business side?
You know, as far as the business is concerned, you definitely can find some sharks out there, and you know, you gotta watch back and have as much stuff in writing as possible these days. But on the ground level, I think we're in a pretty good place. A lot of bands out there that are touring full time, like Another Lost Year, Super Bob, Shallow Side, some bands that are really kick ass. They're out there they're just playing constantly, and we've built this community that's not like a local rock scene, but it's nationwide. These guys are playing everywhere, and they're doing it successfully because there is a community within these groups of bands where everybody supports each other. You know, it's not like, oh, my band's better than your band, and we're too cool for school, and we're rock and roll, and like we're keeping our contacts close to our chest. Like we don't want to share information. It's like everybody's trying to figure out how we can all break through together. There's a lot of talent, and I think as large of a pool as we're in these days, there's room for any band with some talent and some drive, a lot of work ethic, there's plenty of room for those people to rise closer to the top, you know?
I definitely understand where you're coming from. You know, I guess music has come a long way of being more opening. I mean, back in the day, especially the 80s and 90s, it was like get a demo tape. Nowadays, it's social media, and some radio executive can hear your music from the internet, and hey, I'll give you a record deal. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, a lot has changed as far as I guess people are trying to music, or better get more artists out there, whether it's indie, whether it's unsigned, things like that.
Totally. I think it takes a creative mind, you know? You can get 1 million views on YouTube just by having a clever idea. And that's another reason that the state the music industry is in is so cool, because if you put a little thought into it and you've got clever ideas, then people will take notice. And there are lots of different avenues to take, a lot of different opportunities for people to express themselves and actually get noticed. You can't just write a demo and then hope that everybody falls in love with it. You gotta grab people's attention. There's a lot out there.
Most definitely. So the next question I want to ask you is, and I want you to give a lot of thinking into this. If you can have a dream collaboration, a dream music collaboration with anyone, it could be rock, it could be any genre of music, dead or alive, any artist or group for that matter, what would your dream collaboration be?
It would have to be Freddie Mercury. I think that guy is a freak in nature and just absolutely brilliant. Like how he came up with, and it's all theater, you know, like he wrote music theater, and like worthy of any Broadway stage. And I think that just the scope of imagination that he was able to achieve in song is just unbelievable. I think he's fantastic.
Freddie Mercury.
Unfortunately, that guy's dead.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and continue.
What's that?
Oh, go ahead. You was continuing.
Oh no! I was just saying that, you know, you said Dead or Alive was okay, and unfortunately he's no longer with us. Mm-hmm. So that's not exactly a possibility.
Well, I'm sure a lot of artists, they've done so much material recorded that maybe there's some vocals out, unheard verses that hasn't seen the light of day. So as they say in show business, never say never. You never know. You may run into...
That's a decent point.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the thing with music artists, man. They record so much material that the music that doesn't get heard possibly don't get heard the light of day. And about Freddie Mercury, I'm definitely a fan of him and the band Queen. You know your music is timeless. When 20, 30, 40 years from now, your music's still heard, especially in sports events. I mean, yeah. We are the champions. I mean, that become an anthem for sports in general. So, I mean, that's timeless right there. I mean,
yeah,
that's timeless. Again, go check out She Set Fire's album, Boom, available on iTunes. You can check out their website at shesetfire.com. Follow them on Twitter at shesetfire and
we're everywhere. We're so easy to find.
Yeah, so
we're on that. We're also on Spotify. We're on Google Play. We try to make ourselves as accessible as possible, and it's She Said Fire, like that's what she said.
Yeah, and this band is fire, y'all. Y'all need to listen to this band for where I've heard a lot of bands. They got good music. They got a good thing going. It's a good thing going, and I believe y'all deserve some radio airplay on mainstream, man. But y'all keep pushing.
Thank you. So that means a lot to hear that, man. Thank you so much. We're trying to push as hard as we can. You know, I think I think what really sells people on us is the live show, because we got a lot of energy. You know, I'm not afraid to say that, like, we put on a show. Like, we rock hard, man. It's a really entertaining thing to be a part of.
That's awesome, man. And when you get a chance, I'm not sure if you got my email earlier, or better yet, my direct message on Twitter or not. But when you get a chance, please email me some of y'all records, man. I'll be happy to play them on the show.
Oh yeah, no, I sent you Boom just a little bit ago. So you've got the entire EP in your inbox right now, brother.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I truly appreciate that. I'm definitely gonna have y'all on repeated airplay. I'll tell you that right now.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it.
And tell the rest of the band, if they're either near you or you just away from them at the moment, tell them I said hello. And great luck, great success goes out to y'all with the record and your upcoming shows. Thank you, Joshua, the vocalist of She Set Fire, for joining us this evening. Thank you for your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. That was Joshua, the lead vocalist of She Set Fire. Again, the album is Boom. Go get it on iTunes.